And welcome back to the Football Fanatic podcast. This is episode 13, and I'm your host, Declan O'Connor. With me this week is Daniel Coulter, and we've also brought on Mossy Kyo, and returning to us after a 2-week absence, hat in tow, is Howard Costello. Howard, first of all, Moss, apologies. We have to go to Howard first. Howard, how are you feeling? You all right?
Here's important.
Yeah, good. Look,
we were worried about you, man.
Bit of a disaster. Look, all I'll say is, if the surgeon offers you a free kebab with the surgery, definitely stay clear, So, no, look, I'll be leaving the hat on for a while, to allow the growth to continue, So watch the space.
I'd say there's not much growing in it now after the weekend's result.
Oh, stop. Yeah, back to square one.
All right, come here. Mossy, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. Delighted to fight United's corner here a little bit.
Good stuff. Very good. All right, we'll get straight into it. So the weekend review, we're going to start with Newcastle and Arsenal because that seems to be the game that got everyone's attention at the weekend. 1-0 to Newcastle, obviously, but in very controversial circumstances. Howard, I'm going to let you go for 2-3 minutes of just your rant because you've been texting enough about it. First of all,
yeah, go on.
Sorry, go ahead. Go for it.
No, I was just saying I was hoping now Deck will give me a little slot here that I can just take out my fury and my stress. As I say that is literally woke up like Sunday the day after the game, still fuming. But no, look, I'll talk about the incidents first, and then we can actually go back to actually the performance.
Yeah.
The first look. All I'll say is that Newcastle are starting to very quickly fall into that group of a team that I despise now. They have
that's growing. That's growing.
Yeah, that's nearly there. Like you have a lot of this. You have a lot of how do you say, pricks pretty much in the team. They play a game that's on the borderline dirty wise, which is fair enough. Anthony Gordon has that face that everyone wants to punch. He has that punchable face.
I agree with her.
I think everyone, you go across all the fans that all agree with that. And then Bruno is just a bit of a dirtbag himself, running around the place like a headless chicken, hitting into people, barging into people. Talking to other Newcastle fans, he's been doing that kind of crack all season and hasn't been pulled up on it. So it was just a bit odd that when he's in St. James's Park, he's just allowed to run free and do whatever he wants. But I guess the thing that got things going was the Havertz flying karate kick, which was I would say now, in my own opinion, he was out of control. I would say he was high, but I think if he touches him,
he was high.
Well, he's high. He wasn't high. He was just high off the ground, I suppose his foot was. And I think if his leading foot at all catches a Longstaff, he's gone. He's gone. He's done. And he comes in at quite a quick pace. But what I'd say to that is he doesn't catch him, and he catches him with a trailing leg. And it does happen quite often that a player comes in to block the ball, misses the block, and catches them. So even like it's gas to see the Newcastle players go so mental then afterwards, this crack that they're able to push around other people, and then if anything happens to them, they can't take it at all. So they have a bit of kind of small dog syndrome in that aspect. Yeah. So look, that was the first thing that got things going. Next thing then, the Bruno forearm. Now that for me was.
Just before you continue, all right?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, feed into that.
Dan and Moss on the Havertz one, just a quick one. The yellow card weren't enough, or should have been more? Dan?
He could have got a red.
I think he could have got a red too. Mossy?
He could have got a red, but I think the fact it was a trailing leg probably mitigated enough to say, right, I can take a yellow on that.
There was a still after the match shown where it didn't look good at all. It looked
that's
like
still.
I don't think you could judge him that still.
That's Sky Sports.
Yeah. Do you know what you can judge though? He's fucking useless. Anyway, continue.
He would have been better off without it, really. But
all right, Howard, continue on. You've got
just on that still. Sky Sports put up a still, if people hadn't seen it, of Havertz's foot like his leading foot, just where the interface of Longstaff's foot was, and said, "Oh, geez, look, a terrible tackle." Didn't touch his foot. Like it's just funny how they can just swing these things and put these things out there to basically piss people off and make people go against whatever the grain. Okay, the next thing then was the Bruno forearm. He lunges into Ben White with two legs. Look, nowhere near Ben White. Grand. But like even the tackle, the action was a bit weird in the first place. Gets up and then literally legs it after Jorginho. The ball gone. And like I don't think he properly catches him, but like the intent is there. Hits him in the forearm in the back of the head. Like the rules are clear as day. Like if an opponent deliberately hits another opponent in the face with an arm or hand, it's a red card. It's as simple as that. It's stone cold a red card. Compare that, watching the Beckham documentary there a while back, did a flick up with Diego Simone. Like, that's not, he didn't do damage to Diego Simone's leg, but the intent is there. You know what I mean? It's it's a stonewall red card. The referee doesn't see it. If he gets called over to the monitor to look at that, he's gone. He's 100% gone. Like, so
Dan and Moss, red card.
I think 100%. I think that was a red card. I don't think I doubt that whatsoever. Like, it was reckless. It was dangerous. It was out of control. Couldn't argue with it at all. I don't know how it didn't go beyond that.
Dan?
Yeah, Stonewall red, and I think he had done one of them. I was watching the game. It was the Dortmund game of the Champions League. He is previous with that. I'm nearly sure it was the Dortmund game where, and like it didn't. There was not. I don't even think it was a foul, and he went over and it was like a forearm smash to one of the. I think it was Dortmund. But he like again, it was the same kind of thing, same kind of action, and it was off the ball, and he was trying to do someone. So yeah, whatever's going on with him there, because he's a great player, but like that was a red as well.
It's like a Tekken move, isn't it, Dan? Forearm smash. It's like, come on, it's like the lucha libre stuff.
It's weird. I don't know what like
what he's taking.
Yeah, but there's two, as you said, like there's two of them anyway in quick succession in the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He gives Jorginho a push in the back. I don't know if you've seen that one as well. Like kind of nudging, like wasn't anything cynical, but like he's there, get up. He was obviously wound up to the max, Bruno. But anyway,
all right, take us on to the main one.
Okay, look, the goal now we're at the goal.
One that has you
right, ball in, ball out. Right. This one now for me. What kind of pissed me off with this one, when I saw it in the replay at live time when it was going on, I was like, the ball's out. Like you can see the green part in between the line and the ball on the ball's the other side of the line. It must be out. And I know this whole thing, happened in the World Cup. Maybe if you look at a plan view, maybe it's in, maybe it's not. The ball's a sphere, all that crap. Like that's grand. But the thing is that United had this 3 weeks ago. United had the same thing, and it wasn't that United had a goal. It wasn't ruled out. It wasn't like the ref on field decision. The ref saw it go out. It was a goal, and they went to VAR, and somehow VAR are able to say it went over the line for the United one, and for some reason they're not able to say it's gone over the line for the Arsenal one. Like where's the technology? Where are they coming up with this stuff? Like it's just weird. Like it's just strange decisions. Like the VAR lads probably like, oh look, it looks out of play, but we can't guarantee it's out of play. Well, what about the United one? So like, is that not the same case? Like it's just a strange decision. And then when that happens, surely it opens the book then, right? If there's anything else going on, they can root it out. Thankfully, their get out of jail free clause. It comes in, hits Joe Linton, and I didn't see this until I saw the clip of it afterwards. Hits Joe Linton in underneath the sleeve while he's pushing Gabriel. Hits him underneath the sleeve to control the ball, and that's stonewall handball. I don't care if people say, "Oh, sure, he was only controlling it or whatever." Like that's stonewall handball. The push in the back. Yeah,
I'll give you the ball, be now. Yes. I don't think it was a handball, no. And then, why don't you think it's a handball, like? I don't think there's enough. I don't think as I said weeks ago before, there's no player goes out to handle a ball, and there's no intent to handle a ball. When a ball hits an arm,
oh yeah,
it happens, and I think that's exactly.
But he controls the ball with his arm. Like, is that not a handball? Like, it doesn't mean like he deliberately did it. Like, his hands are at the back of Gabriel's neck. Like, if the ball hits him in the arm, you can't say it's not a handball. Like, it comes from 20 yards away.
We're going to come on to the Luton and Liverpool game now in a few minutes as well. And there was a handball situation in that game as well, where the ball hit his arm.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the exact same thing as
But
you're
it's a
saying. The ball
cross,
hit
like
his arm.
coming from, like he can see it coming. It's not like it's jumped up and hit him on the arm, like
I
you know what I
know,
Do you
mean.
but
not
It's
think the fact that Raya misses it
that's
mitigates
terrible,
it?
terrible,
Like
like
it's terrible
terrible,
keeping. Like a ball
terrible. Yeah.
out,
Oh, like I
like
get,
ball
like
out.
yeah,
It could be completely thwarted by your keeper, and you have the whole
100%.
debate
Ben,
coming. So
100%.
Ramsdale
Ben,
should be in there. Do you know?
yeah. Ben White didn't go out quick enough. They thought the ball was out of play. He shouldn't be looking at that. He should be straight out to it. Like Arsenal defended the place, the whole attack terribly. Like don't get me wrong, it was a terrible attack.
And
But anyway,
do you think it was a push then?
A push.
A push on.
I don't think any of the three instances are Stonewall anything. Like as in, I can like as in I can see where you could come to the conclusion that the ball, like Howard, you wouldn't bet your life on it that ball was out. I said, you know, Howard.
no. To be honest,
For me,
out of the three, I'd say the ball going out is probably the least likely
yeah.
of, or the least what you could say. Okay, look, it doesn't. But the fact that it happened in the United game is a bit
I
bemusing
understand
in general.
that, yeah. But that one is, I suppose, to use the term that's going around, is the inconclusive. As in, there's nobody here can would bet their life on it. That ball, it looked out, but you wouldn't bet your life on that it was out. The ball comes in, then that one could have been. It could have went either way. I don't think it was Stonewall anything though. I think it was one that could have went either way. Gabriel's kind of stooping down. Joe Linton
Like,
kind of had his hands on his back. Like there was, yeah, but it's again, it's not a Stonewall either. And the handball, like no one was really talking. I know you were saying that after the game and you seen a thing.
Yeah, no one seemed to pick it up. I don't know why.
No,
like,
but again, nobody was talking. There was no sort
but
of.
being Sports, Andy Gray and Richard Keys are old friends. They flagged that as a reason why that for them it wasn't a goal because of
and
the
they also
handball.
said the ball was in. And their technology.
Yeah, they also exactly. They said the ball was in, but like they said, it was a foul on Gabriel and it was a handball. For some reason, Gary Neville doesn't mention the handball. Jamie Carragher doesn't mention the handball, but we can get on to them afterwards with the punditry in Sky Sports. But for me, look, the push on from Joe Linton, like you're 1 meter out from the goal. He has his two hands. He's off the ground. His legs are off in the air. His two hands are on the back of Gabriel's neck. Yeah. Like even if Gabriel's stooping.
Whether it was a push or not, his hands were on his back.
Yeah, even if he's stooping down, Dan, like if he wants to come back up to head the ball, he can't do that. You know what I mean? He can't do that because his hands are on his neck. Like
I know. I'm not saying that it looked like it could well have been a foul, but I just think again, to be going around with his comments of it's just disgrace, embarrassment to the sport. The Premier League is in the gutter. Like that kind of stuff is all into the gallery and very overreactive.
I'm kind of think coming from the same line as Dan there. I think like. Look, it's controversial decision, and VAR reviewed it, and I'm kind of like, is there anything that I'm definitely like that's 100% wrong? And I spent most of it going, maybe, without being certain about any of it. And then I was like, Arsenal could have sorted that themselves, but Raya just poor goalkeeping, and he's done that a few times in recent weeks. Like,
true.
For Arteta to come out and say it, speak the way he did, I know he's passionate, etc. But he's supposed to set the example of we control the controllables at the club.
Yeah.
And his team at the end of the day didn't function. They let the rough and tumble of Newcastle get under their skin like Atletico Madrid style. You know, they really stuck into Arsenal. And Arsenal did kind of shy away a little bit from that physicality, I thought. And it's supposed to be a stepping stone for them moving on and pushing for the title and showing that Arsenal going to the next level.
To be honest, to be honest with you, I thought that was a very good performance from Arsenal. Like, okay, we didn't score any goal, we didn't create any chances, but we were defensively really solid. Even last season, I think it was we won in St James's Park, but we gave away 2 or 3 chances at the very beginning of the game. Newcastle could have actually taken the lead, and we didn't give anything away in the game. And for it to be decided like in the decision it was decided in. Was I thought very harsh on a team, and like you hear there was a pundit on Sky Sports afterwards like, oh, Newcastle wanted it more. Like that's sorry, but that kind of crap is just like poor punditry. It is just bad punditry. But just on the Arteta's comments,
I get fact that in Newcastle were the home team and
I'd say
St James's Park is such a tough stadium to go to influences.
And there's another Newcastle got a lovely decision last weekend against Wolves. I don't know if you remember that. Like that was a farce of a decision as well. Like Newcastle seem to be getting all these decisions, haven't had a player sent off all season. But look, like that's neither here nor there. That's whatever. St James's Park, the crack. But I just want to say the Arteta's comments okay, it's the heat of the moment, but like when he calls it a disgrace and that it's not up to the level of the Premier League, if you can't call a ball out of play over a line and in this day and age with the technology that we should have in the pitch, that's a disgrace. If you can't use automated offside to show Anthony Gordon's offside for the whole of Europe is using it, that's a disgrace. Like you can say, oh, his comments are just like, oh, they made such a bad decision. It's not that. He's saying that for the level of quality of Premier League football we don't have the officiating and the technology to actually use VAR to its highest level. Like VAR was just pointless last time. Like one thing
He
I'd
said,
say,
That's
but he
nothing
says,
new. Like, and as a
yeah,
Liverpool
yeah,
fan, I'm sure Dan can
you
go
see,
back to
this
Tottenham.
is, yeah, like, but he said that, but then he said 2 weeks ago, mistakes happen. We need to back the refs. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you can say what you like, when it happens to somebody else. But it was
Dan,
clear as this day that because it happened to him, he went off on one though.
yeah, but yeah, at 100% that's his own team. But like he did
Yeah.
also say that he thought he hopes that Liverpool got what they deserve in regards to their statements. That like I know that whole comment that came out, but if you actually read, I actually listened to the full interview about it, and he's very pro Liverpool in with the Diaz thing that happened previously. But just one last thing on the VAR thing. Why isn't the ref, who's the guy in the center of the pitch, over at the monitor for the whole of the 3 or 4 decisions that are getting made? Instead of pushing players away, why isn't he over there looking at what's happening and talking to the lads and seeing what's in front of him? I don't get what's the point of him being like wandering around the pitch and people like in his ear, oh, we're just checking this, we're just checking that. Like he probably thought the ball might have been out of play. He's like, oh, the ball's out of play, maybe out of play, but look, it's VAR, I'll leave it. Or let's see, oh, maybe it's a push, I'll leave it. We'll leave VAR up to take it. He should be over there with the guys in Stockley Park looking through the incident. It just doesn't make sense. That's
why
kind of
can't they do like
But
they do in rugby, where they put it
yeah,
on the big screen and talk you through
yeah,
what's going on?
yeah.
Yeah, no,
but
fair.
yeah,
That's been said before, Monty. Absolutely.
yeah. But on the instances though, so if so they didn't have the technology, from what I gathered, to be able to see whether or not it was
Over the line,
the
yeah.
ball was over the line.
Mm.
So they didn't have that. I'm with you because we talked about this earlier in the season about the automated thing they used in the World Cup, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The
Offside.
the offside thing. But again, like in all of them ones, if VAR can't decide whether it is or it isn't, you have to go with the on-field decision. So
Yeah. No, I agree.
so
I agree. Like for the offside, like they don't have the angles. So
yeah,
they have to go with the onside decision for the ball over the line. But like it is that one of the things that is funny that like if you have all them things that are like all, especially the foul as well in top of it, like surely they say, right, we think it's out of play.
mm,
Oh, great, we have this foul, grand, we can give it, we
yeah,
can rule
yeah,
it out. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It just seems
yeah.
strange that they're like, right, we'll check this, and no, they're going on this side of like giving it each time, like which I thought was a bit unusual.
Yeah, the most annoying thing is like that we're back here. We've been talking about this several times, and that's
Yeah.
the most frustrating. Is where apart from I've made my comment there on what I thought of what Arteta had said, but in terms of actually the issue, like it is week to week, we're sitting here seeing really poor ones. We've had
Mm.
many of them. You said that the Newcastle one last week. Like every week,
Shocking.
there's at least 2 or 3 of them that
This
are.
week, Dan, Wolves this one again this week. Another
Yeah,
shocker.
yeah. So
Sorry, Dan.
yeah. Go on, no, go on, Deck. Yeah, no, but like it's just
No, no.
it's something like they are going to have to do something, whatever that something is. I don't know. Like they're going to have to try and clean it up because it's bringing the game into a serious mess every week. And
It is.
I know it's giving us talking points, but like we like to be talking more about the games themselves as opposed to fucking stupid incidents.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, these instances, they're costing teams points. Arsenal, for example, they were cost points at the weekend, points that could add up come the end of the season. It is a mess. It needs to be fixed. How it comes to that, I don't know. I mean, the refs are getting a lot of criticism, week by week. So I mean, it's going to come to a head. We don't know how that's going to look. So we will see. We'll move on to the next game. Howard, I want you to take a few deep breaths.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
A few
drink some of my water here, just cool out.
Trickles of blood coming out of your hat there. Just take a break for a few. Only joking. So Dan, Luton versus Liverpool. I thought it was a brilliant game. I know obviously it wasn't. I know you weren't too impressed with Liverpool, but I thought Luton, for like the lack of quality that they obviously have for the Premier League, they have a lot of fight and a lot of spirit, and we were laughing at them for the first few weeks of the Premier League. Some people are still laughing at them, but I mean, realistically, if you look at the Premier League now, there's 4 teams at the bottom. Everton are slowly pulling away little by little, although if there's a points deduction that they could come straight back into it. But Bournemouth, Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United, of those 4, possibly the three of them might go down. Did you see anything yesterday to say that Luton could stay up and then maybe move on to your Liverpool thoughts?
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting when one of the pundits said like that, in a lot of Luton's games this season, they've actually only lost by 1 goal. Like we have given them a fair slagging now, in fairness here, and nearly every week if we're predicting their scores, we'd be doing well if we get them a goal.
On that, last week's predictions, man, by the way, Howard, you weren't here.
I heard.
Yeah, Dan, I think you predicted 4-0.
Yeah.
Rowan predicted 3-0. What did Deck predict?
What did you predict?
1.
Yeah, I thought Deck, when you did that, I thought he's mad. Like, I was like, what is he doing back in the league? So fucking
there is a fucking method.
There is, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so they were set up very, very well, and I read a good stat there that Liverpool haven't beaten a promoted team. Is it since 2021? They seem to be struggling against. In particular, all them teams seem to play that kind of low block and everyone behind the ball, and we struggle at times to break them down. But like Luton were well organised. I thought they defended really, really well. There was a few times there where it was like, thought we were in back post and someone would get a flick on it or get the ball away. And Ogbena, I tell you, was a real fucking handful. He absolutely done Trent sideways for the 90 minutes, or for the nearly 90 minutes he was on the pitch. He was excellent, and I thought it was interesting after the game. Klopp went to Liverpool, their counter pressing stats, they were basically non-existent. You wonder, did they go out thinking we're just going to steamroll these lads, which is what most people thought, that they would beat them comfortably. Yeah. But after about the first 50 minutes, they looked poor enough. But that's our performance from Luton. It's sad for them in the sense of that, if they had got all 3 points, Liverpool weren't banging the door down in the last few minutes. They were putting a lot of balls into the box, but I didn't think they get one, to be honest. And it's kind of like they've got a point, and it is obviously a point more than they would have thought they would have had. But they will be a bit good, I'd say, but there's a lot to build on. That is in fairness to them. They went away as well to Everton and won away as well. They're not too long ago, so they're starting to pick up the odd points here and there, and maybe they're getting better. And when you look at the other teams around them, fair enough, it was a big win for Sheffield United the other day as well. That was a massive win for them. Burnley be looking at that weekend going fuck. But in fairness to Luton anyway, you can't say that they didn't for their effort, and they did defend very well. But it's that kind of same old. There was very little creativity, no plan B for Liverpool. They were just kept trying to play passes through the middle, get balls wide and crossing it in. But there's a
couple of people starting slowly to kind of get on Nunez's back.
I suppose you've had 2 quick ones, again, I thought in the opening 10-15 minutes he was very good, actually, very lively, and but again, they are that was the difference in losing that game. We were 3 or 4 up in the Europa League game, so you don't really bat an eyelid at it. But again, you look at that and not the miss, you don't know how costly that kind of a miss could be come the end of the season. It has to be scoring that, as does Salah, to be honest, as well. Salah's just at fault really as well, because he should be fucking scoring as well. But that was a pinnacle moment, I think, in the match.
It's a weird one, isn't he, Nunez? That's probably the worst the sitter of the season. I would have that down as that miss. Just to miss it by so much as well. But he's just such an enigma, isn't he? Because he's
by the offside side flag, though, wasn't he? He was flagged off.
Yeah, I think he was on though. I think they had
it. He was on. Yeah,
I think he was on. Yeah, I think he was on. In fairness, now I think he was. But
no. I mean, you can't. None of us can deny that he has had quite a good season today.
Yeah, he's playing well.
He's definitely stepped up this season, and I think it's again. Look, continue to play him. Those misses will start turning into. I think those misses will start turning into goals, and you do have a proper player in your hands.
Yeah, he is. Look, and of course you're going to have the social media and all that kind of stuff. In particular, the Man United fans seem to always send me messages. Seems to be usually them that we send a message about Nunez.
We're lucky to be sending any messages.
Yeah, I know, but
he
is though. That is something he's going to have to work on, because you're playing a striker that you need clinical moments in the Premier League. You need to be taking them chances. But overall, I just thought we were poor enough, flat enough. Even for the goal, Jesus, the goal, like that's always a cardinal sin when you have a corner and you get hit on the break from your own corner.
I actually thought Scott Barkley played quite well yesterday.
Ross Barkley, yeah.
Apologies, Scott Barkley.
Scott Barkley.
Ross, I'll be editing that part out. Ross Barkley played quite well.
Yeah, he did. But I think Luton, like, they played well. Like, do you know what I mean? They didn't. I suppose they had to defend for large periods of the game, but like they defended well. And when they got on the break, they knew what to do. In behind Trent, get balls in behind, go direct, and like, you know, it's a real kind of, for me, again, I've been mentioned several times about Liverpool in regards to title race, and again, you could see yesterday there as well, McAllister again in that sixth role, and even as you could see him trying to get back. Like, if you think of it, if we had had like Fabinho or something in there, somebody would have cynically fouled a Luton player. They wouldn't have got out. I think it was Harvey Elliott that tried to take a fella down and fell over, and then McAllister was fucking breaking his gut to try and get back. He just doesn't have the pace to get back anywhere near it. But anyway, look, it's a point in the end. Diaz, that moment was a nice moment for him with all the shit that's gone on there. You know, and it was a good ball from Elliott. He's kind of made a difference in a few of the games that he's come on. But I still think it's a bit of a reality check in that as well. You know, I just feel that City wouldn't have lost that game. You know, there's other teams that would have got the result, and that's the difference. You know.
Moss, just a quick one. I don't know, 4 teams down at the bottom so far, like Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United, and Bournemouth. Out of those 3, if they were the 4, say in the last 2 or 3 weeks at the end of the season, who do you think would, you know, what you've seen so far, who could escape?
Like, I feel like Sheffield they've carved out a few results here and there, and then other things they just have not showed up. They're not consistent at all. Like, they've been completely non-existent in some games, and then they've really fought well in others. Whereas I feel at Luton, they're consistently plugging away.
Yeah.
They're a home, they're a hard team to beat. They're compact. It's a tough stadium to go to. The crowd are hostile. I kind of have, I don't know why, I just have a feeling since the last 2-3 weeks that they could sneak out of it, because Burnley are going down. Yeah, I don't know why.
Burnley are going down.
Burnley are going down. And
Bournemouth, you think we're going to...
I hate Bournemouth. I just have this complete hatred for them.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't like them when Eddie Howe had them, even though they played good football. I just find them just... They're just a team that frustrate me, because they play good football and then they just stop, and then they let Eddie Howe go, and they fell out and they fell down and came back up again. And you're like, okay, fair play enough. But they never feel like... They're always like a team that are a team of maybes. Like, players
I got you.
That were like, oh, we'll take you at Bournemouth, and then they kind of perform to a level of we're too good really to be at Bournemouth, and don't give you that kind of die-hard attitude. And they're just a team that I don't like. I don't really have a concrete reason behind it.
No, I get you. I'm the same for Sheffield United. I just don't like them for whatever reason.
The others that could be dropped. They could. I know.
Absolutely.
Fulham haven't been great. They've been pulling up many trees there either. You know, there's a few others that are. Wolves are getting no.
Fulham need a striker. Like, if Fulham can get someone in half decent in January, like, they play good football. Even like watching them against United the last day, like, they were creating chances, and if they had someone to finish, they could easily have won that game against United. And any other couple of games, they've created chances and just failing to put them away. Like,
just on the teams, I suppose, that are currently in the bottom 4. I know realistically there will be 1 or 2 that will slip up and start heading down towards relegation places. But just right now, it looks like there's 4 kind of being left at the bottom. Has there been a season in a long time where, like, the points gained by the 3 promoted sides has been so few so far? Like, we're 10 games in, and I mean, the points gained by Burnley, Sheffield United, and Luton, I mean, has been so few. I know there was a season where I think Sunderland got, like, was it 13, 14 points?
Derby as well. Derby
as well. I just it seems to stand out. I don't know whether it's a record or not yet, but I mean, just something to look at.
You usually have one team that does, you know, well enough out of the 3 to come up, like.
But this season unusual. It's literally...
it's and everyone had touted it for Burnley. Everyone had said, you know, companies coming in.
Me included, absolutely.
Yeah, that they'd be the one that would, you know, the expansive style play, like, they absolutely steamrolled the championship, and everyone was really talking them up. Where I think most people were of the opinion like Luton, Sheffield United would really struggle, but there wasn't too many saying that Burnley would struggle.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Mossy, this is your time to shine. Fulham 0, Manchester United 1. Talk to us. How are you feeling?
A moment of utter relief near the end. Yeah, look, just lack of imagination, slow play, very, very frustrating to watch. Like, you watch City, they can progress down one side, isolate someone on the far side, switch the ball quickly, and they have got one-on-one situations created again and again. That's how it's hard to defend against that. We are passing in front of you. I suppose in some way we're a bit like Liverpool in that the low block, really. We just can't pick the pass. But there's just no movement. Like, we don't know what our best team is at the minute. He's very, like, we're just so looking at Anthony progressing down the right and cutting in every single time and losing the ball. It's so frustrating to watch. And you look at Highland there, who's, 20 years of age, making fantastic runs. He's strong in the air. He's making great runs into the box. And they just won't cross the ball into him. Like, the supply into him is horrendous. And Harry Maguire is looking like our best player at the minute.
Yeah.
So
he was unlucky with the offside, wasn't he? I thought that was a definite.
I thought it was harsh.
That was
We
mad.
have in the most goals ruled out this season from VAR decisions. So when we're giving up VAR, I was like, but
I'll get the violin out for you, Massey. Hang on, let me get it out for you.
It better be big. We need it. I suppose there's a lot of questions going on about Ten Hag in relation to his style. Like, where's the style that he had at Ajax? And he's openly said that he doesn't have the players to do it. And I think a big miss from that is Martinez, because he was so good on the ball coming out from the back that he allowed us to do it somewhat.
Yeah.
And we look at the starting team, like Onana probably is the only one that really is his purchase. Johnny Evans, I suppose you could argue, is in there, but he's there for cover and that's it. Like, he's Ferguson era. Maguire was bought by Oli. You know, as in Dallo was Mourinho.
But Mossy, whose fault is it now that, like, he spent whatever 450 million or whatever it is, and he still doesn't have a team he can play the way that Ajax can play? Like, what's going on there? Like, why doesn't he? How has he not formed a team good enough now that he can play his own way? It just seems a bit mad.
Yeah, well, I suppose you are missing. He is missing Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is a big miss, and I think Martinez is a big miss.
Yeah.
And Casemiro just dropping off a cliff has not helped.
Yeah.
But he keeps getting bashed at this 400 million. And I really question those 400 million, how much of that is really input from Ten Hag? He might identify it there, but our negotiating skills in the transfer market. Like, when we started bidding for Anthony, we were talking in the region of 45 to 50 million. And suddenly we're paying nearly 90 million for him. When we started with Highland, it was in mid 45, and suddenly it's United, and now we have blown our whole budget on Highland. Like, we're negotiating prices up, not down most of the time. And we can't ship out a single player because we're giving them these ridiculous contracts. Like, it happened, De Gea played fantastic for a season. He got an unbelievable contract. It was a complete drop-off in form. Rashford played unbelievable last year, got an unbelievable contract. And now he's dropped off form completely. Like, we need to probably implement sort of a pay structure that is capped with some level of incentives. And if a player is like, well, I don't want to sign with that, and then off you go, we'll find someone else, and develop some sort of a backbone for the transfer market, because we're a laughingstock in the transfer market at the minute. Yeah. Like, we were linked with everyone, where our agents just use us. We bought Ronaldo because he was going to go to City. Like, do you know, we're like, okay, we can't have that, so let's buy Ronaldo. You know what I mean?
Neville's comment though, like, it was a really good one. It was about like all the good players that Man United got, and it's like the graveyard for good players to go there. Let's like Sancho, players who were going there. Di Maria at that time, he was there. You know, like they're buying world class players, and they're going there. Like what? Like, and that's not just Ten Hag. That's
commercial though. Like when Van Gaal, who isn't a manager I loved at United, but he's an experienced football man, turned around to Erik ten Hag and said, "Don't go there. They're a commercial club." There was like United lost to City the last day, and there was 3 adverts released immediately by the United Instagram promoting Adidas watches by 4 players who were 4 out of the 5 players in the ads were injured. And that was like, that's just the club's focus, is making money. There's football is secondary at that club, and it's
And
obvious.
of course, with Jim Radcliffe supposedly come in, 25% of the club purchased. Supposedly he's going to, well, again, if you're to read it and believe what you're reading, he's going to kind of take over the footballing department side of things in the office. He's going to invest money in the stadium, 200, 300 million. I mean, would you have preferred the Saudi bid to have a complete takeover?
Yeah, the Glazers are there for one reason only. And I don't even know, like, there's been touted as Ratcliffe's going to come in and at least our football is going to be decided. But I personally think Glazers are going to use him as another person, as a buffer. Let the blame go on him. He's supposed to be in charge of the football. We're in charge of commercial. Saves their skin there.
On base of all of this, all of the stuff going on, Ten Hag under pressure, injury crisis and all that, Dan said to me the other day, and I have to look at it to believe it, Man United are only 6 points behind. Out
6 points behind, playing atrocious, loads of players 100%. To come back. Like, they can't really get worse. Like, they can only go one way. Like.
And this season as well, 5th place is most likely to get you a place in the Champions League next season. So, I mean, for all as dour and bad that it seems to be, again, they're 6 points, they're 2 wins off. All it takes is for, as you've seen Liverpool dropping points at the weekend, all it takes is for a couple of results, and all of a sudden they have Luton next in the Premier League. Yeah, at home next weekend, as far as the league.
Don't underestimate them, Deck. Don't underestimate them. We see what happened there.
I didn't. Dan and Ronan underestimated. I knew what was coming.
But like that's the thing though. Like, they are only 6 points off it. Like, they have whatever been. They've fucking, you know, they've got a couple of late winners. They've scrapped and they've got over the line in games. It's been difficult to watch for Man United fans. They've been tearing their hair out, but like, he is just getting them results over the line and scraping by. So, like, if they were able to get players back and pick up any sort of form at all, like, you know what I mean? They haven't left a massive gap where kind of like their season is over. It's very much not.
No, they haven't. No, and to be fair, the only real stick that you can beat Ten Hag with, I think, is that there aren't clear patterns of play. There isn't a defined style, and I think that's the biggest criticism I would have of him. The 400 million, I could argue Richard Arnold, you know, what's going on in the background, I don't really think that's a fair thing to throw at him. Yeah. But the pattern of play is the worrying thing.
The pretty big criticism, though, Mozzie. The main reason that, you know, a manager's in place is to find a style of play and a way of play. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I take that. Yeah, 100% take that. Like, the patterns of play is worrying. But it's like we were playing, like, we were beating Barcelona in the Nou Camp.
Yeah.
Like, we won the Carabao Cup last year, and we were really finding form. And it's like, we were playing pattern. We had patterns of play then, and I don't know what happened since then.
Do you think there could be something there with the players are starting to lose faith in them? Because we know with the Sancho situation, you know, is there like you know, one team that backs the manager, another team they're like getting fed up with the manager?
I think so.
There's a bit of down the tools kind of stuff.
There is, yeah, and I think, but as a club, they surely have to see that they downed tools for 4 managers now. Yeah. Like, you can't just keep going, oh, well, it's clearly the manager. Like, that's 4 managers in a row that they've downed tools for.
If you think about it, Matthew, though, right, and I understand Howard's point, right, there's 3 big things that happened in that club. Outside of the Glazers and wanting them out, outside of all that things, there's 3 massive things that happened in that dressing room over the summer. They fucked around one of their kind of, I suppose, key components in the last, their 10 years of Gea. They messed him around, right, firstly. So that was the first one. They then took the captaincy off Maguire. And I don't know how like Maguire is in the United dressing room, but it's rare that you stripped someone of the captaincy who was a player within the squad who, you know, I don't know. I suppose there was talk of West Ham as well, and I'm moving on. But like that one, and then the Sancho ones, where Sancho then came back and fired back. So you have a lot of Englishmen in that side. You have Maguire, who's English, Sancho, who's English, and then you had what happened with De Gea, and they all fall under Ten Hag's watch. So there is an argument for that could be part of why there's no patterns of play, that they're not. So some of them just aren't playing.
To be fair, I agree that. But out of those decisions, if you were in his case, De Gea wasn't handled right. But to play his style of football, De Gea needed to go.
Yeah. Fair point.
I love De Gea. I was hand and heart would have preferred to keep De Gea. I really don't rate Onana as a goalkeeper. But if he wanted to commit to his style of football, you needed to change to get it from the back.
Yeah, but it's the handling, as you said, Mossy. It's the handling of it. I think that's the handling of the Sancho situation. It seems to be the player
and
management
that's why,
side of
that's
things.
why I think the transfer market is where it really let us down, because at the end of the day, if he stripped him of the captaincy, the assumption was that they would move on Maguire. There was no way he took that and was like, well, sure, he's going to be here and I'm going to be stuck with it. Like, that would be my take on it. He assumed that they were moving him on and he didn't go. So then that situation is great. And then you have Sancho, who's just attitude at City has come to the light now. I never heard of it before, but apparently he had a bad attitude at City. Then at Dortmund, he was renowned for being late. And then he's expected to be on time. And it's very frustrating to have that much talent and just be like, no, and at 23 and expect the manager to agree with you. Like, you know, he seems doesn't seem overly bothered by the fact that he's earning a load of money and not playing any football.
He's going in January though, I think, is he? I think he'll be. Yeah.
And there's questions of Anthony going in January as well.
Yeah, I like the way that Ten Hag has dealt with Sancho. I know, look, they were chasing him for a long time, but I mean, the manager made a comment. It wasn't an awful comment. He said he needs to improve in training, he needs to improve his attitude in training. Then he responded by going on to social media, basically, and more in effect calling his manager a liar. I mean, that's not on. Fuck it. If your employee does that, you call them out and you banish them to like the basement or whatever. So I mean, that's
but Dak, you can argue that way, but you can also argue that you could say that to him privately. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you say second he makes that comment.
Burned that bridge,
that's a fair point.
Like, you know, Sancho had been given time away to go deal with his stuff. He'd been accommodated. From my reading of the situation, is Ten Hag was sick of dealing with him and let it fly when he probably shouldn't have, but had made a lot of accommodations for Sancho. He'd been sent him away for a couple of months, couple of weeks, maybe 7-8 weeks in his first season to give him time to get fit again, like mid-season.
I know, but just see, I suppose we're talking about the amount of media scrutiny around Man United. Just had the big Ronaldo incident that was fucking, you know, it was a massive one. And that's just the point I'm making. And I get what you're saying, Mossy. He said it because Hag will say what he wants to say. He's not one who's going to hold fire. But I just think in that specific one, you know, he's come out and the comment that he made where Deck saying it's not that bad.
No, it was bad. It questioned his whole professionalism.
Yeah, it's in, you say that to him, you bring him in privately and you say, look, Sancho, you know what I mean, and have it out there.
Maybe he did. The cameras. Maybe he had, but
but I still think what was the gain? What has he gained by doing that? What did he gain? What was the gain?
Yeah, it was bitterness.
It was an old school move of call you out in public and see if you'll step up. And Ten Hag does have a habit of doing it. Like he did it to Rashford.
It's a risk. It's a risk. Obviously,
yeah.
I mean, if Sancho goes off in January and starts playing
tears it up
for whoever. I mean, yeah.
And then you imagine mentality you would like. He'd be like, well, I'm proving here. Like you saw Jesse Lingard went to West Ham to prove a point and he was unreal for 6 months. Like,
but Sancho was one of the best young players in the world when he was at Dortmund. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, he was.
I know.
Absolutely. All right. Listen, we'll move on. We can talk for all day about Arsenal, Liverpool, and United, but no doubt we will again. Right. So the rest of the results over the weekend: City 6, Bournemouth 1. Jeremy Doku is starting to kind of come alive. It's brilliant. It's brilliant to see.
He's very good.
He is. He just has that kind of stop-start acceleration. Like
very good.
Very few players have. Brentford 3, West Ham 2. Notts Forest 2, Aston Villa 0. Aston Villa are an odd team. They're brilliant home record, but away from home seems to be kind of stopping them at the moment from kind of going to the next level. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 2, Everton 1, Brighton 1, Sheffield United 2, Wolves 1. A lot of goals. Good weekend.
Who does goals? See that one?
Yeah, great goal.
Who does the goal? Yeah. He's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah, very good. And again, what do you call it? Moyes as well. The Moyes out brigade are back.
What's going on there? That's strange.
It's the media. The English media just love a story, and I mean, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense after what he's done in the last 3 years. But I mean,
there is that element of West Ham the fans wanting them to play a certain style of football. Yeah,
West Ham way.
Well, yeah, this kind of thing. Yeah. You know, but there is that, and I think like that is a thing, and they've kind of always been anti-Moyes on that front, in that that he's very pragmatic, that there's not much, you know what I mean?
Fuck you, Dan. You should have said this to him last week.
No, but like there is that, but there is that Moyes. But there is that Moyes.
He could tell us what the fucking West Ham way is.
But there is that Moyes out. Like there is that Moyes out thing that has been going for a while. Even last season, only that they won the conference, he probably would have been gone. Like,
yeah, he definitely was gone. Like only he saved his conflicts. They wanted rid of him. Like and he's just too pragmatic.
Stubborn Scott, and I mean, he had one at Old Trafford as well. I mean,
we had him at Old Trafford too. Don't forget.
Sorry, he had him as well. There's something to be said.
200 crosses a game and no one to finish it.
Digging your heels in and just saying feck. I mean, anyways, look.
But like, he had a massive result against the Gunners in the cup. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. They're just
careful. Careful what you wish for, like, like if they get rid of him and get some lad who plays ticky-tacky football, they could be going down, like, you know what I mean? So,
Bournemouth.
Yeah. I mean, the grass is not always greener on the other side. I mean, you have a good manager in David Moyes. Stop complaining. If enough of them shout enough, something could happen, and Moyes will say, "Right, fuck off, I'm gone." Okay. The next segment is an interesting one. So, what I want the three of you to do for Arsenal, Liverpool, and United, I want you to pick one player in professional football today, has to be still playing, that you could have in your team now. Okay, I'm going to start off. I'm just going to quickly kind of say my one. City have had a left back issue for a number of years, and we brought in Gavardi all over the summer. Still technically not a left full back. Neither is Ake, although they both play there quite regularly. Over the years, Benjamin Mendy was supposed to be the kind of the go-to, but we all know what happened there. Fabian Delph was brought in, Zinchenko was brought in. We've never had like a full kind of left back. Cancelo tried out there and he went off.
In fairness, though, he was unbelievable. Though he was. He's very good. Yeah.
But if I could pick one player, I would love to have Daniel Love, Andy Robertson. Genuinely.
Andy Robertson now, or Andy Robertson back?
Sorry, give him maybe 2 years ago, Andy Robertson. But,
right. Okay. Yeah.
I just think he's the Kyle Walker of left back. He bombs forwards. He has speed about him. There's something nasty about him as well. Like, he has an attitude, but you love to see it as well. For a Liverpool fan, I'd say Liverpool fans love him. Kind of when he starts laughing at opponents as well. He bombs forward. He can whip in crosses. He comes in with your goal as well. And he's the type of player that I would love at left back for City, because I mean, you've got some consistency out of him over the last few years, and 8 million from home could be the bargain of the century. So for me, it was Andy Robertson. Howard.
Because of Arsenal's striking situation, I guess, at the moment, and the fact that that's probably where we could do with a player at the moment, it would be Victor Osimhen from Napoli is who I chose. Just a big kind of Didier Drogba target man with pace, gets a load of goals. I think he got 26 goals last season. He's got 6 and 8 this season. He'd be some upgrade on what we have at the moment. Like Eddie Nketiah is great, scoring hat-tricks against Sheffield United, but he's not up to the scratch. Like he's not at that level. So
he came like 6th in the Ballon d'Or, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, he's 24. He's 24. Like, he's definitely going to get a big money move, whether it's to La Liga or whether it's to the Premier League. He's going to cost upwards of 100 million. Like,
what nationality is it?
He's Nigerian. So if he was to, if you're talking about 80 million for Tony or like 110 million for this lad, I'd be paying 110 million 100%. He has that rawness, that speed, like the pace of him, and he's just an absolute man mountain. So he'd be like Arsenal's kind of equivalent to Haaland, I suppose. But look, there was loads of people to pick from, but this was just focusing on the frailties that Arsenal had, and it was up front. Like Jesus, I don't think, as we said here before, I don't think he scores enough goals or finishes enough chances to be a full-on striker that might win you the title over whatever 38 games. So yeah, look, he was my choice.
Yeah, I'd agree. He will be on the move possibly next
He's
summer.
on the
It'll be
move, yeah.
interesting to see where
Is
he
he fall out
goes.
with Napoli? No, was there a falling out or
There
something?
was a kind of racial based video put out by Napoli, the Twitter, I think, or the Instagram maybe, or TikTok, I think it was it was of coconuts or something like that, and it was pretty bad, pretty insensitive from them to put it out, and
A
he
bit
kind of fell out.
stupid, like. I mean,
Oh,
Jesus,
daft stuff,
you're a
like.
star player. You're taking the piss out of him online, like. I mean,
Yeah.
the fuck
He's a
kind
good
of
player though. He is a
yeah,
good player.
working for you, like, yeah. Moss for Man United. Who would
Yeah,
you like?
there was many players to consider this. That, like, I'd love a right winger. I'd love a strike. Well, kind of a more experienced striker. But in the end, I went for one for now, and that would get better, I think, developing our midfield. So I went with Tuchemi from Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Centre mid, he just breaks up play so well, reads the game, great physicality, can pass the ball, and would just protect our very, very exposed central defence at the minute, as well as having a bit of stability. We just need that player there. We can mess around with Mount in front of him and Bruno, or you can mess around with Ericsson or whatever other two other players to play with around with a pivot, etc. But we'd have a solid base, and he's only going to get better and better. I had to debate with Bellingham because Bellingham was just so amazing at the minute, but I think for our needs, that'd be someone to take us now, a massive upgrade now, and can only get better and better. So that's why I went with him.
Funny you spent 70 million on Casemiro or whatever last year, and now
Yep.
if you kept that 70 million to
it
yourself,
originally,
kept that in your back
5-year
pocket.
deal, 5-year deal as well, Howard.
Yeah.
He just resigned, didn't he? Yeah, with Madrid. Yeah, another excellent player. Dan, finally, on to yourself. Who would you love?
Yeah, it's very frustrating because, like, Mossy has mentioned Tuchemi, who we tried to sign and he picked Madrid, and the other man that I picked also picked Madrid, which is Bellingham. Because, like, fuck me, if Bellingham was in Liverpool's lineup this season, you'd imagine that we'd be a force to be reckoned with. Like, he's just so fucking good. Jesus, like, you know, it's sickening when you see like what he's doing at Madrid, and you know he was linked to Liverpool for a year, which meant he was linked to Liverpool for about 6 months. And
actually, like, just you may or you may not know what actually happened with the whole Liverpool thing. Because for a long time, it seemed Bellingham he's going to Liverpool.
Yeah, there was so much talk around it. Like, there was loads of photographs of him with Trent and Henderson, and there was all this talk that he was a Liverpool fan and all this kind of stuff. But it seemed like they were holding out for him, and that was the really annoying thing. I think that's why we ended up in the situation that we did this summer with the likes of Caicedo and this kind of mad bids being thrown around, because I think there was an element of that of wanting Bellingham. Klopp definitely wanted him anyway, and it just came down to money. It seemed to be, because that was pre Fabinho and Henderson's departure, and then not getting CL, I'd say, was a right. It didn't do us any favors either. I think the fact that we were losing out on that revenue, but also not in the Champions League, seemed to be other reasons around it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, there was never one reason that came out. There was a lot of different kind of, and that as well. It is hard to turn down Madrid, look, as well. Like, putting that out there, like, it's as if he went to a mug of the club or anything. But he, like, when you see what he's doing this season, he's 10 and 11 games for Madrid. He's banging a couple in the. Yeah, it's insane. Like, he's fucking, was he 19? Like, it's insane what he's doing. Like, he's gone into one of the biggest clubs in world football. Into, fair enough, it was an aging midfield. Mossy's rightfully said there. Too many. He's brought serious energy. He actually couldn't get a game. I don't think he wasn't even getting in the team last year. For them. But himself and Camavinga, like, they brought them in, they brought energy, and then they brought Bellingham in with still the old guard is still there.
No need, like, you know, two top quality.
Yeah, but like
center fielders.
But like, think about it. There's not that many. Like, in my opinion, I don't think Mbappe, if he went to Madrid, would have the impact Bellingham has had.
No,
I don't. Like, I'm not dissing Mbappe, but until he goes to Madrid, I won't call him. I can't have him ahead of Haaland, or, you know, from what Haaland's doing in the Premier League, until he goes to Madrid for me. But like, the impact he's had to go into that midfield under that pressure with a massive price tag. Yeah. You know, there's an awful lot of players that have gone there and fucking it swallowed them up. Where he has just gone in.
You thought having Hazard, sure, like, he just completely blocked, like.
But even when you watch him, the second half against Barca, like, you know, I watched it because I forgot it was on early. Actually, the Clásicos, they're always on fucking early in the day. I was watching the Premier League game, but the second half there, he just strolling around the pitch, test out, taking the ball, scored an absolute screamer, and then scored the winner. And it's like anytime you flick on and see a Madrid result, it's like Bellingham is getting the winner. Or, yeah,
It's just one of those moments, though, wasn't it, where you're like, this is a player stepping up in the second half of the Classico, banging it, taking responsibility and banging it in.
Like, but you even see glimpses of him, Massey, for England. You know, you can see the difference and like how much class and confidence he has about it. And now everyone slagged off Birmingham when they went and retired his fucking shirt.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, he's when you watch him play, like the difference he would have made to us or United or to any team.
Thinking about it. What state would he be now if he had gone to United with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do you think he'd still be at that level?
No, that's a fair point, because I think going to a club like Borussia Dortmund, Haaland as well, going to a club like that, gave them the proper setup where they're going to get plenty of game time. And Borussia Dortmund, all respect to them, they're not as big a club as the likes of Bayern or etc. It was a perfect stage for them to kind of take the next step up, and then the further step in Haaland's
it just shows whoever's managing or helping him managing his career know exactly what they're doing. Like, you know, it just shows that there's great advice around them to 100%. See that and know it was the right time to go to Madrid as well. Like.
You were saying, Dan, as well about retiring his number at Birmingham. If I read about Bellingham over the weekend, that transfer to Borussia Dortmund kind of saved Birmingham.
Yeah.
Funds that they brought in. So I mean, it is a cool story. And you just wonder, like, I mean, Bellingham's there now. You said they've kind of revamped their midfield. Real Madrid have Vinicius Jr. on the left. Likelihood is Mbappe will be there as well. I mean, they look like they're building a second Galacticos, doesn't it?
New stadium as well.
Rebuild, isn't it?
Yeah, new stadium as well. Yeah, but it is. They're obviously financially, I think, a bit backed as well by the government in Spain. Don't they? There's a. But what was I going to say there? Bellingham.
Can I say, Dan? Like, like, how sick do you feel not getting Bellingham? Like, is it is it really, really annoying? Like, all I think he needed to do was make Champions League, and he'd be playing centre mid for the next 10 years in the middle of Liverpool's. Like, you know, could be.
It is very frustrating. Yeah,
could be the next big thing. Like, could be your next Ballon d'Or winner for the next 7 years, sitting in your midfield. It's because
speaking of the Ballon d'Or. The fucking daylight robbery. But
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up, Decky.
No, but Dan made a good point.
You brought up into the group and we talk about it. It's nice that I don't want to talk about it. It's a fucking jam.
I know you don't want to. It is. It's fucking ridiculous. It's like it's for the media and the journalists and all that. But let's have a very, very quick debate on this. Okay, Messi or Haaland for the Ballon d'Or? Yes, Messi won the World Cup. For 4 weeks he performed at a very high level. Haaland over 9 months kind of performed at an exceptional level, broke records in England. I personally think that Haaland should have won it, but the more I think about it and kind of the more I chat to you about it as well, like it doesn't mean as much as it used to mean. Like I wouldn't know if I go as far as calling corrupt, but like it's.
Well, the Messi Ronaldo show, like, okay, fair enough. It was probably one or the other anyway, but like that kind of made not a mockery of it, but people got bored of it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially then when Lewandowski, like, fucking he got absolutely done for one there. He definitely should have won.
And Jorginho, remember that time? He should have.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing, right? But like, this is the whole thing. So Messi won it obviously based on the World Cup, right? Like Jorginho was part of an Italian team, and was like Jorginho was never in his career the third best. He'd be lucky to be the 33rd best fucking player in the world.
Well, he won the Euros for Italy, you know. So
yeah, whatever, right? But
and Champions League that year.
Just one other point I wanted to make was like the money that Bellingham went for, like, so like Rice is after going for 100 million to Arsenal.
Yeah,
and in my opinion, like when you look at just impact wise, the player coming in under the price tag and what they give to a side, like. You know, imagine what Bellingham would have been like in the Arsenal setup.
Well, yeah, no, and fair enough that. Well, I suppose the price tag thing is, and you know, the like the 110 million. Like, I think if United went in for him or Arsenal, it would have been or Liverpool, it would have been a different price tag. There's no way. I think Bellingham just went to his agents like, look, I want to go here. He was picking there, and like then they just had to agree a deal because it was a cheap deal if you look around the place. Like, you know, it was a bargain for Madrid. But I think if you had a bit more, if Liverpool were like there's a chance of getting in there, and I think you're right, that money, the Caicedo money, was the money that was put away for Bellingham. But I think he must have just said, look, they didn't get Champions League. I'm going to maybe I don't know.
I'd imagine the transfer budget though, because he had to revamp the midfield, so it wasn't. I suppose what did you do? I suppose you go and you put all your eggs into the Bellingham basket, and then, in fairness, when you look at it now, it's been the right move. Like, but looking at a pre-summer, you're kind of like, we're going to put all of our money into a 19-year-old and hope that he's going to win us a league title. Now, look, as it's transpired anyway, the money was spread around in the end, and you'd imagine there's a small bit left in the kitty because they didn't get the big money that they went in for. They didn't get like Caicedo in the end and everything. And again, look at the money he's gone for, and then look at Bellingham. Like there's no.
They must be sitting on a bit of cash though, are they? There must be in January or something. Is it you thinking there? Because they got Endo in, was it, or that was it?
Yeah, I think I was chatting to a Liverpool fan there that I'm friends with about the other day, and he reckons in January. I think that there's a Brazilian lad there over playing in Brazil. Is it Andre or something? We were linked to him in the summer. He's a midfielder.
Get him in.
Yeah, but like he's small money, like so. I don't imagine we'll go and spend big in the summer. Like I can't even think of something ahead of who you'd even go for in January. I think it'll be more kind of get back into the Champions League and then again try and strengthen in other areas. As Carragher had said, and I've been saying here in the pod, need a centre back, and that's I think we do need another top quality one alongside Van Dijk. Yeah, and Tsimikas and Gomez a left back. When you kind of look at a few of the players that are coming in, there's a big drop off in quality still for us. But anyway, look, Bellingham's the one that got away. we all have a woman like that in our lives.
There's the man. He's getting married on Friday.
Topical.
Well, hopefully,
she's not getting away now, lads. It's fine.
Yeah. Hopefully, in a couple of years, lads, Bellingham will come to his senses and he'll come to Liverpool.
Oh, very good. Okay. And by the way, Dan, congratulations on your wedding this Friday.
Yeah, no, I'll be on next Monday, lads. Don't be fucking worried. I'll be here. Honeymoons, fuck that. Pod all the way.
I hope your fiancés are watching this or listening to this throughout the week. So, weekend predictions next weekend. So, I've decided to bring this from 4 down to 3 because, unfortunately, none of us were getting anywhere close to 4 predictions. We would get one, and I think one week there was someone who got 2, but again, I brought it down to 3 because trying to entice more people into this competition. So again, if you are to predict 3 correct results, you will win 2 match tickets to a Premier League game of your choice. So the response over the last few weeks has been good, but we want to improve. We want to get more people involved. So it's down to 3 games now. So the games we've gone for this week, for next weekend, are Bournemouth versus Newcastle, West Ham versus Notts Forest, and Chelsea versus City. So all 3 games are on Sky Sports next weekend. So Dan, we'll start with you. Bournemouth and Newcastle.
Firstly, I'm delighted with the change, and I really look forward to someone nailing it for tickets.
Is that delighted because you haven't picked like many?
Someone will though. Someone will jam it. Like So there'll be other Aegis like you that would go for 1-1 in the Luton Liverpool game. So there'll be a lot of them Aegis out there, and someone will come with a couple of results. They'll probably pick Bournemouth the weekend. They'll probably win Forest and fucking Chelsea, and someone's going to get it anyway. And I'll be delighted. I want to be there. I want to be there when you're handing them over.
Deal, not 100% deal, but I have a question, right? What if I predict all 3? What happens?
I actually don't. I don't think you should be allowed to predict them at all. To be honest, I think that you should be fucking eradicated from that. Banned.
Howard has the final say. So we'll come back to this next weekend. Bournemouth next week. Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Then.
Dan, is it me or Dan?
Me?
Dan,
yeah. I've gone for. Newcastle are away in Europe aren't they, the week by sitting till Bournemouth are shite. So I actually think their man Irola, I said at the start of the season, the first one to go, and he must be close to the fucking door. So I'm going 2-0 Newcastle.
2-0 to the tune. Okay. Howard, Bournemouth, Newcastle.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, Dan Irola. I think you could be right with that. I think he could be getting the boot. They're pretty.
Them are company.
Yeah, I actually thought they might do all right this year, Bournemouth, but they've just gone off the wagon altogether. They're only, as you said, they're trying to play the nice football, and it's backfiring. I had 2-0, but I'll go for 3-0 Newcastle just because, just to be different.
Keep them different, try and rob me of my well-earned money. Maz,
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I like Newcastle. I know they're away or the midweek game, but 2-1 Newcastle. I think be nice to Bournemouth there.
I seen Dan Burn is out for 3 months. That's a blow to them, isn't it?
Yeah,
back injury. Yeah,
Good riddance.
That
What I say?
list is growing, Howard, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do you
man.
like, apart from Arsenal, do you actually like any team in the Premier League?
I don't mind Liverpool. Fairness, don't mind Liverpool.
What do you think of City?
Don't mind. City. City. You just kind of you just leave them at it because they're just City. You know, just at that oil money. They're just like, you know, you let them off. It's kind of like they're just like, you know, the cheater in class is looking over you. You know, you're worried about just performing out of the best of the rest. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, Newcastle lads. I'm starting to, Callum Wilson
Yeah,
even
you
is a
really
bit of
are.
a dick. Like, I just don't like him. Don't like
It's
him
the
at
only
all.
reason you started to dislike Newcastle though is because they're actually like up their game now. They're a competitor.
Yes, and also they're I just think they're a dirty team as well. I think they've really like
They're paying
got
off
it.
of VAR there.
Yeah, even the time wasted they did last year. I went to see Arsenal Newcastle, and it just sat like the Trippier doing his hair before he took a corner. They're just really they're the dark arts. They're like the Atletico Madrid, as you say, Mossy, of the Premier League at the moment. And Eddie Howe, oh, you give him his flowers and all that, but I'm starting to not like him either, to be honest.
Yeah, what do you
They're
mean
like
give him? What do you mean give him his flowers?
Like he's doing all right. Like he's knocked City out of the Carling Cup, didn't he, or the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, he's
Like,
doing better than all right, Howard. Come on. In fairness, with the group that he has there, he's done better than all right.
Yeah, he has. But like, yeah, he's look. I don't. I'm. Yeah. Well, I've lost. Yeah. I
You
don't like.
you don't like them, fair
I
enough.
don't like Newcastle anymore.
You reckon they belong in the house of Slytherin, do you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, put the sorting hat on them and get them voting in as litter now. No, but I hope Bournemouth do a number on them now at the weekend after my prediction. So
West Ham and Forest, Dan, what do you think?
What it's me? Is it West Ham? I'm going for 3-0 West Ham. I reckon Moisey Ball will get going again here now. 3-0.
Absolutely. Howard, what do you think?
I put that 1-1. I just have a feeling now, Forest, a good result against Villa, West Ham. They're just a bit kind of up and down, aren't they? They're just, I don't know, the brigade, the Moisey out brigade might be getting to them. But look, we'll see. I think Ronan, who was on last week, like he said, like Kudos is doing great stuff, but they don't seem to be playing him enough. And I think, like, you know, starting him, I think he started the weekend now, but like before that, like, and I think little things like that might be annoying the Hammers fans. And not getting, you know, not playing that attacking football and putting their attacking players on the pitch. But anyway, 1-1 I have.
Howard, who do you hate more, Spurs or Chelsea?
Oh, I actually have to say Chelsea.
Right, okay, it's one of the Spurs. Just letting you know.
Is it fucking
Yeah.
Spurs? Yeah, fuck's sake.
Who scored, son?
Kubileski.
Okay. Oh, I love him on my right. I have 2-2 in my head. Yeah, I just like West Ham are letting in goals, which is unlike them. And Nottingham Forest played well at the weekend. I was impressed with them at the weekend.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the final game. Dan, Chelsea and City.
Yeah, I've gone for 3-1 to City. Yeah, I can't see.
I've
Chelsea
2-0. I've 2-0 City. I can't even see Chelsea getting any shots off or anything, to be honest. I think City will just smother them.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say 1-0 Chelsea.
Oh,
yeah. Just prime Pochettino, just pull someone out of the bag, defend, break, get a crappy goal, and then just defend for their lives.
Yeah, they haven't been bad against the big teams this year, Chelsea. If you give them, if that's anything to go by, they did play well against Arsenal, even though that was very poor Arsenal performance. They did well enough against Liverpool. And they're at home, like so.
All right, so Moss, you're going 1-0 Chelsea.
Yep.
So this is your first and your last time in the podcast.
I'm starting to get worried about Tottenham now. All this talk. They're starting.
You're starting to believe, are you?
Like I can't see. Like they're not going to last for long, I don't think. But they're lasting a bit longer than what I thought they were going to do.
I said at the start, lads, the culture has changed at Tottenham. Dan,
still Tottenham.
What we say, Moss?
They're still Tottenham. They're going to fall off somewhere along the way.
Up to God.
Well, the lads talk the same, but I mean, we're in November and they're top of the pile.
No European football, lads.
Yeah,
it's a big one.
All right, we'll move on. We'll see what happens with Tottenham. Hopefully, in the next 30 minutes, Chelsea will have 2 goals, and they'll do a Spursy. Fancy football, Dan.
Yeah, it was a fucking horrific car crash weekend for most, and a lot of people glued to their, I'd say, TV sets tonight, praying for Son and fucking Madison to get it going, because otherwise it's very bad. Interestingly enough, though, and I have to take fucking some sort of there's no class with the man on this podcast that's on my screen. He's on my right anyway, and he's wearing a hat. And he just has Pope at centre, Pope and goals, and Trippier in his team against Arsenal. So I have I have a rule when it comes to fantasy football, that if there's ever players that are playing against Liverpool, I put them on my bench.
Yeah.
But Howard obviously was hoping for fucking a Newcastle fucking to win.
I was hoping 0-0. I hoping a
No.
good old 0-0. Fucking, I had Anthony Gordon on my bench. I benched him because he had that punchable face. He hadn't fixed his face in time, so I fucking benched him.
And he left in a man as well that's father is kidnapped as well. Like, that clearly hadn't trained. He left Luis Diaz in his team as well, who like clearly hadn't trained, dancing and playing. And so I don't know. Howard, what are the lotto numbers this fucking week? Is what I want to know. But anyway, Howard actually is the only one. Well, there's one or two others, but like in the near the top of the league, Howard is the only one that had a decent week. Now he has no Spurs players, so he is praying that. But he got 42, which is actually really high. The average was like 23 points this week.
Yeah, I thought I was doing terrible.
Yeah, because everyone had captain Haaland. And then Salah blanked as well. So they're kind of, and then Watkins, loads of people put in Watkins last week, and since everyone put him in, he hasn't scored. So, which is standard enough in fantasy football. So,
did Howard move up a few?
Did I? What?
He's up to 7th at the moment, but
above Dan, I think. Above you, Dan, am I?
You're above me, Howard. But
if
Madison scores tonight, or I get a clean sheet for Spurs, I'm ahead of you.
Ifs and buts, huh?
But Howard is 7th, but he won't become unless Spurs do a Spursy. He'll be back down to his probably customary, was he 10th usually, and around that.
Yeah, you and him are in your battle for 9th.
Yeah, battle for 10th. But anyway, Connor Jordan is still leading the way.
Is he back on top?
Yeah, he's in the way, and haven't jotted a clue there. Mark, is it Mark Hallinan? Is it? Yeah, is on. He's there, and then Andrew Curley is there as well.
He's knocked off his perch.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your brother. Like he just hasn't been able to get out of last place. And I know he started like a week later, but like,
who cares?
He's in Mexico.
He's in Mexico.
Hey, let me have a look at his team here. If he's any sort of, he just obviously doesn't look at this because he's
done it. Like he started it, and I'd say he was completely gone the next week. Like
he's Isaac, who's injured. He obviously just doesn't look at his team. Right, fair enough. I was wondering why he's still bottom. But anyway, that is the story. It was a bit of a car crash week, and everyone is praying for Spurs to get it going. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. It's all she wrote. Had him injured, is he? Is that his story? What happened?
There was an ankle, all right, but he was training again today. So I doubt they'll play him tomorrow night. But I'd say he should be fine for next weekend. It's Chelsea away on Sunday evening. I'd say be grand.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on. Final segment, Monksland United. So, results over the weekend. Monksland A fell to Abbey Leaks 3-1. Monksland B won 3-1. So, next weekend, the Monksland A are idle and Monksland B are away to Coleraine. Last man standing. So, Dan fell last week and we had only 21 left. This week, there are only 6 people left. So 15 people fell over the weekend. So I don't know what games they were that fell. But
imagine Liverpool. Surely there was a load here that got nailed.
What's the pot? What's the
€500? I mean,
going
into Christmas. Absolutely. So the remaining 6 are Jack Gaillard, Earl Gaillard, Nolan McGee, Larkin Shine, John Shine, and Sarah O'Sullivan.
Are them Shines related?
They could be. The Gaillards are related.
The Gaillards, yeah, they're just copying each other's scores. Okay, that's copying whatever the blueprint is there.
Exactly. So there's like
€250 each, lads. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hold on, that's what Dan and I were doing as well. So. No, but 5 lads, 1 girl, Sarah O'Sullivan. I'm backing Sarah.
Come on, Sarah.
Let's go, Sarah. Come on, Sarah.
Come on, Sarah. Tell Sarah, if Sarah's listening, tell her to let us know what our team is, and we'll cheer them on.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
We'll give her a few shout outs on the top.
Can we ask Dan who, if you were still in it now, hypothetically,
Oh, it was
who would
really
you have
tight.
this weekend?
Well, the weekend just gone. It probably might have been Palace because I had very little options, and I was looking at who were.
You had
really bad.
United though, didn't you?
The United were going to be for this weekend. Yeah, would have been United for this
Oh,
weekend.
Luton, of course. Yeah.
The weekend just gone though. It was tough because it was Brentford. There was a few ones that were dodgy, and I think it might have been Palace though. Was the one I was looking at. Yeah, against Burnley. So anyway,
Okay.
not to be.
That's okay. Right, man. Any other business to be discussed?
Back on.
No, but I think
that's it now.
we should get our. We were looking at doing a Christmas competition, so I reckon we should get our artists in gear and get that ready
Come up with something.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
You think about that on Friday, Dan. When you're not doing that on Friday, so you pencil that in on Friday. Have a good think about.
You'd have a good group of people you could run ideas by on Friday. To be fair,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna go around to every table at the wedding and make sure they all enter this fucking competition to get them Premier League tickets.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Every
them
table.
no matter what.
Every fucking table. I'm gonna make sure to get their phones out. Give me your phone for 2 minutes, and I'll go on.
Yeah.
You get some of the follows out of it as well, Dave.
Yeah, look, you can go around to every single table and guess, tell them, put in your score, go to the priest, tell him to put in his score as well, all right? Doesn't matter. Can't be done, hasn't been done, won't be done. I dare you to fucking try. I'm messing with your dreams, lads. You can't do it. Mossy, thank you very much for coming on this week.
Thanks, really, guys. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Dan, thank you as always. Very best of luck on Friday.
Thanks.
To you and
Thanks,
Orla. And Howard, our very best wishes to you. I
Thank
know
you.
you don't want to take off your hat and show the viewers. And
Yeah.
You know,
We'll
but-
see the growth maybe next week. See how we get
all
on.
right. Listen, the very best of luck to you. I hope this episode was okay. I hope you're happy enough doing it, and you'll come back next weekend in a little less pain. Don't go to Turkey. Don't get a kebab.
Don't get it. Cheers, Dave.
Right.
Best of luck on
Lads.
Friday, Dan.
Bye, guys.
Thank you
Good luck.
very much.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers,
All right.
folks. Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.